They were just going to be little clips to show you. And then, oh, it doesn't look like any of my slides are loading. So what I'm going to do is just go from my notes. Okay, so we'll just leave that up like that. And you can see I have done a few little notes right here. So the Iron Fist, Danny Rand, is a complex individual. His knowledge and being goes way beyond what is seen by the eye. Only you wouldn't know this unless you knew him. In order to do that, he must trust you and become comfortable with you before enlightening you. In this presentation, I'm going to explain how, like an onion, Danny Rand has many layers to peel back before getting to his center, his core, revealing secrets, weaknesses, and strengths, leading to what Danny Rand has become, the Iron Fist. So, social penetration, the theory is based on 4 basic assumptions. The first assumption suggests that relationships move from superficial layers to intimate ones during the development process. The second assumption suggests that relationships generally develop in a systematic and predictable manner. The third assumption is that relationships can regress backwards, depenetrating the relationship. And the fourth assumption is self-disclosure, disclosing and sharing personal information with others. From these assumptions, 5 stages were developed and introduced, making the social penetration theory meaningful and becoming an actual friendship. This theory introduces breadth and depth, referring to measuring what degree of intimacy and what level of self-disclosure will occur, and also reflects on barriers that may be preventing one from moving on to the next level of intimacy. The social penetration theory is often referred to as the onion theory. The layers of an onion represent the layers of a personality, the outer layer being less personal to the center laying being the most intimate and raw. Theorists Erwin Taylor and Dalmas Altman's professional relationship began when Taylor became Altman's research assistant while studying for his doctorate at the Naval Medical Research Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Taylor's work was mostly focused on self-disclosure as well as social penetration, and Altman's work was focused on interpersonal exchange in mostly isolated groups. Upon working together, these 2 distinguished psychologists first introduced the social penetration theory in 1973, published in a book called Social Penetration: The Development of Interpersonal Relations. This theory was conceived by their mutual passion to delve deeper into understanding the stages of progression as well as behaviors people exhibit when developing interpersonal relations. Or in less technical terms, they wanted to know what level of comfort people must achieve in order to open up to one another and become friends. So, the purpose, Altman and Taylor's work on social penetration theory has been described as, quote, one of the earliest efforts to understand the nature of close interpersonal relations, the dynamic qualities of persons and situations that foster mutual regard and intimacy. That was by Jones, 2000, page 341. So, Altman and Taylor were intrigued by human behavior. They wanted to understand people and relationships, how relationships are built, what was the basis leading to developing and maintaining personal relationships, what types of behaviors encompass getting to know each other on a more intimate level. They wanted to learn how people interacted with each other from being strangers to best friends. The social penetration theory has been studied, researched, and revised several times since its inception about 30 years ago and still assists in understanding these types of behaviors people exhibit. This theory is used in research, studies, statistics, communications, and science, as well as a variety of different areas. So, stage 1 of the social penetration theory is known as the orientation stage. It would include small talk, brief encounters while passing strangers, no intimate information is exchanged. The second stage is known as the exploratory affective stage, which leads to conversations about general topics like sports, weather, politics, and religion. These conversations may occur with an acquaintance, but one may not even be comfortable enough yet to be completely honest during these exchanges. And no personal intimate information has been divulged. The third stage, also known as the affective stage, is when a relationship or friendship starts to develop. You have conversations about more personal topics, sharing your thoughts, views, and opinions. These can lead to positive and negative exchanges due to the relationship becoming more, because you guys actually are friends, and so now you're able to communicate better and be open and honest, and this could be positive and negative. So the fourth stage, known as the stable stage, when a relationship has developed and you have exposed some of your deepest thoughts and feelings, otherwise known as self-disclosure. These expressions are honest, and you may find you know someone well enough to predict certain behaviors or outcomes. The relationship is of value to you with some type of emotional attachment. It could be your friends, best friends, boyfriends, neighbors you talk to every day, but someone you trust and consider significant in some way. The fifth and final stage is depenetration, when the negative outweighs the positive and it's a chore to maintain the relationship, so you decide to regress back to a less intimate friendship. So, Now I'm going to be talking about the background of the Iron Fist. It's a Marvel comic with the main character being Danny Rand, a child of an extremely wealthy businessman who was very rich and powerful in his New York City. As a boy, Danny and his family were in a plane crash flying over the Himalayas. Everyone in the plane was presumed dead, although no bodies were found. However, Danny was not dead, but left an orphan to be rescued by sacred monks of the mystical Kunlun Monastery. Danny trained intensely for about 15 years with these monks to become an elite martial arts fighter. Through his training and skill, Danny was able to develop and master the skills